I Parry Everything is far better than it seems, and it honestly might just be the best anime of summer 2024, and I'm not joking. I will be the first person to say that going into this anime, I wasn't actually all that sure as to how good it would be, especially since MyAnimeList only has it down as a 6.8 rating. But I'm here to tell you it's definitely better than that and well worth the watch, and that 6.8 is just outrageous. I mean, this anime is seriously so much better than people are making it out to be. Yes, it doesn't have the greatest plot, but it's not awful by any means. To be honest, it's just one of those fun animes that people will just enjoy watching anyway. So I guess the question is, what is this anime even about? Well, it's all about a guy named Nor who, as the name suggests, literally parries everything. I mean, this guy parries buildings, dragons, swords, shields, and even rewards. I mean, imagine being offered pretty much anything you could ever want for something that barely made you sweat and you just go, nah, I'm good, bruv. But seriously, Nor is a ridiculously good main character in my opinion. I mean, the mentality this guy has is just impressive. He's the kind of guy that always wants to get stronger no matter what, but also shows compassion to everyone, whether they're a normal human, those to be considered demon folk, or even dragon. And honestly, he is just a pleasure to watch in general. Especially when we get to see the flashbacks to him training to become an adventurer and stuff in the first place. Like, this guy put in the work and everyone could see and appreciated it. I mean, he wasn't particularly gifted with skills like everyone else, but that didn't stop him from just working hard and gaining everyone's trust and respect. Truthfully, it does seem like Nor seemingly parried away his own brain cells with how silly and goofy this guy is sometimes, but honestly, that's just a part of his charm, and most importantly, it makes sense that he's like that. Because from his understanding of how the skill system works, his adventure rank, and the fact that he's never actually really gone out to fight any monsters, he is nothing but a weakling in his own mind, and that actually makes sense because it's all he's ever known, you know. He doesn't have those special skills. But I'm going to take the focus away from Nor for a second, because I have to say that some of the other characters in this anime are also really enjoyable to watch. I mean, Lin especially, her entire personality, her vibe, the contrast that she has between her and Nor is just perfect, man. I mean, she is also a little bit stupid because she somehow didn't figure out that Nor actually thinks he's ridiculously weak after he dominated that massive cow, as he called it. But despite the fact she's a little bit stupid as well, she's also really great. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised because I assumed we'd get a little bit of romance between the two, but we actually didn't go down any sort of romance route in this season, and I don't know if we will in later seasons if we get them. Honestly, they don't really need to do it at all because this anime already has its daily dose of wholesomeness, and I wouldn't want them to just ruin it by forcing something out of nothing. But thankfully, the vibe in this anime between all of the main cast, but especially those two, is just done really well, and if we do get a romance, then I think it will actually be fully justified and make sense. Because like I said, this anime genuinely does take a big focus on its cast of characters, and they all just aid the storyline perfectly. But while I'm speaking of the storyline, this is another anime that feels consistent with a lot of fantasy anime that we've had this year in the way that it's kind of slow paced. I mean, let's take episode 2 for example. Yes, the entire episode was just dedicated to pure waffle and introducing new characters, as well as Nor getting his main weapon for the series, but most importantly, it was still enjoyable. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that the story is the most thrilling thing I've ever seen, because as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't have the greatest plot. And in regard to the animation, it's pretty much the same thing. It's nothing special, and the fight scenes are fairly basic, but it's decent and they flow well, and it just suits this anime perfectly. So like most fantasy anime out there, it does have its shortcomings in the animation and the plot, but it really doesn't deserve that rating of 6.8 in my opinion. So I guess the question is, what rating does this anime deserve? Personally, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10, and I'm purely doing that not because it's some phenomenal masterpiece, but because it's an extremely refreshing take in an oversaturated genre. And I mean, this anime doesn't necessarily try to be amazing either, but it does just take its time to introduce, focus on its characters, and I just really enjoyed watching it. So much so that I'd even say it's probably one of my favourite animes of summer 2024. But with that being said, while you scroll down to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, and let me know in the comments what you thought of I Parry Everything and whether or not you'd want a second season, because I know I definitely would. I mean, if we get one, I'm going to be watching the shit out of that so fast, no questions asked. But that is the end of today's video, so make sure you go ahead and remember to feed your goldfish, pet your dog, and tell your family you love them. Peace the fuck out.